Well, welcome to the Backyard Freemason videos. I've been reading in Anderson's Constitutions of 1738. This is from the Masonic Book Club, Volume 9 in their publications, 1978. This is some of the constitutions that we talk about as Freemasons when we say we want to learn them and study them. So I've been browsing through these. These are really interesting. He says, the history of Masonry from the creation throughout the known earth till true old architecture was demolished by the Goths and at last revived in Italy. It's interesting. How he begins this from the creation is so interesting. Now there's very few Masonic scholars that I've read, that I'm aware of at this point in time, who accepts this as historical. That's not the point. This is more in line with the legends, the ideology of the craft of Freemasonry. The Almighty Architect and Grand Master of the universe, having created all things very good, and according to geometry, last of all formed Adam after his own image, engraving on his heart the said noble science, which Adam soon discovered by surveying his earthly paradise. Ha! Where I'm at right now, in my backyard, the earthly paradise. Adam learned geometry from nature. That's a very important lesson. All of our forms in our buildings, our fences, whatever we create, build, put together, assemble, make, comes from nature. Shapes, geometry. Adam knew about geometry from surveying his earthly paradise and the fabrication of the arbor of sylvan lodgment that God had prepared for him, a well-proportioned and convenient place of shelter from heat and of retirement, rest and repast after his wholesome labor in cultivating his garden of delights, and the first temple or place of worship. Here he's mentioning the Garden of Eden as the first temple. That's interesting. Biblical scholars have come across this theme in antiquity as well now. The Garden of Eden was the first prototype of the temple. Very, very interesting. And it was according to his original perfect and innocent state. And then Adam fell, of course. And he talks about Adam, when expelled, resided in the most convenient natural abodes in the land of Eden. That's on page 2. On page 3, he says he built shelters from colds and heats, winds, rains, and tempests, and from wild beasts, till his sons grew up to form a lodge. So he's indicating that Adam was the first Freemason. And, of course, he taught the craft to his sons, whom he taught also geometry and the great use of it in architecture, without which the children of men must have lived like brutes, in woods, dens, and caves, and so on and so forth. But he used geometry, taught his sons geometry. This is why in the Fellowcraft lecture, we Freemasons emphasize the study of not only the 7 liberal arts, but also of geometry. That's a very important concept. And the reason why I wanted to emphasize that from Anderson's Constitutions is because I've been taking the Master Craftsman's course in the Scottish Rite Freemasonry. This magnificent tome by our illustrious archivist and grand historian Arturo de Hoyos, the Scottish Rite Ritual Monitor and Guide. It's authorized by the Supreme Council of the 33rd degree in the Southern Jurisdiction. This is the 2nd edition, 2009. It's an absolutely magnificent text. 1,000 pages of absolutely beautiful information on the Scottish Rite. If you're not a Scottish Rite Mason, it probably won't mean as much to you. If you are a Scottish Rite Mason and you haven't yet begun to study the Master Craftsman course, I highly recommend it. It is a seriously excellent way to learn about Freemasonry. More light, more knowledge, more capabilities to helping us understand our duties and our obligations and the pure joy of worshiping the Grand Architect through our labors. Pike, he included 3 various articles, lectures that Albert Pike had given in this, and I want to elaborate a little bit on one of them that's so wonderful. This one is in Pike's What Masonry Is and Its Objects. The laws which control and regulate the universe are those of movement and harmony. We see only the isolated incidents of things and cannot, with our feeble and limited capacity and vision, discern their connection, nor the mighty chords that make the apparent discord into perfect harmony. Evil is merely apparent, and this is such a fascinating concept of Pike. Evil is merely apparent. Pay attention here. He has something good to teach us. All is in reality good and perfect. For pain and sorrow, persecution and calamity, affliction and destitution, sickness and death are but means by which alone the noblest virtues can be developed. Without them, and without error and sin and injury and carnage and outrage, as there can be no effect without an adequate cause, there could be neither patience, nor prudence, nor temperance, nor courage to meet danger, nor truth, when to speak it is hazardous, nor love that lives despite ingratitude, nor charity, nor forbearance and forgiveness, nor toleration, nor charitable judgment of men's motives and actions, nor patriotism, nor heroism, nor self-denial, nor generosity. Human virtues and excellencies would have no existence. Their very name would be unknown. Their natures be entirely incomprehensible to us. Life would be one low, flat, dead level, above which none of the lofty elements of human nature would emerge, and man would lie lapped in contented indolence and apathetic idleness, a mere worthless negative. Wow, that's powerful. Nature is one great harmony, and of that harmony, every human soul is a tone. I love that. I'll let you ponder this. Watch this video a few times to comprehend what he's saying about the nature of good and evil, and about the actual real harmony in nature.